Assuming you have downloaded Operation Anchorage and you listen to the Outcast distress signal, eventually you will hear this message.
This is Defender Morrill. Any outcasts listening on this frequency report to Sector 7B, Bailey's Crossroads. This is a high priority message. Backup is needed at our location. Any personnel listening on this frequency, please report at once.
And after receiving this radio signal, it will start the quest aiding the Outcast, which is necessary to complete in order to find the Outcast Outpost and to obviously start the DLC, Operation Anchorage. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Capital Wasteland. Today we're going to be checking out Bailey's Crossroads and enter the Outcast Outpost, which is located within Bailey's Crossroads. Now, in order to find Bailey's Crossroads, you'll probably want to head to the Red Racer Tricycle Factory, which is located in the southern part of the map. Also, the quest marker will lead you straight here. There is a small door in the side of the wall, as you can see here, that is just near Red Racer Factory. If we go in through here, we will discover Bailey's Crossroads Metro, and when we come out the other side, we will discover the actual location on the world map. Now, while Bailey's Crossroads was only added after the release of Operation Anchorage, it is worth noting that it is a real location in real life located in roughly the same area. Bailey's Crossroads, Virginia is an actual suburb of Washington, D.C. It is known for large groups of apartment buildings, which in-game is also true, and also it is named after Hatchaliah Bailey, the ancestor of James Anthony Bailey of Barnum and Bailey's Circus, one of the largest and most successful circuses in the United States. Founded in 1871, it continues to this day. So that is where it gets its name from. And as I said at the beginning of the video, this door will take us into Bailey's Crossroads Tunnel. Now, inside of this metro system, we will find a few feral ghouls, but besides that, it's a pretty straightforward, just copy and paste, typical Fallout 3 metro. It's just a straight path, straight through, and it's pretty short compared to some of the other metros that we can find within the game. Now, there will be a few ghouls, as you can see this glowing one with his head getting blown off. There's a small waiting area that had a lockpick for me and some whiskey. And then if we go down to the bottom part, to the train platform, we can find a bunch of glowing mushrooms. And then in a toilet, well, there's a footlocker here, but in a toilet we could find a sawed-off shotgun and a bunch of jet. Not exactly sure what is going on here, but I just thought it was an interesting find. But to be perfectly honest, there is not a whole lot of loot down here. Now over in these lockers, we can find a teddy bear just kind of sitting in one of them. I thought that was cute. I always think teddy bears are just so out of place in Fallout. Then as we come out of the metro, we will find the Outcast at the very top. This man, Defender Morrill, and he will immediately talk to us and give us a warning, telling us that we shouldn't be here, and that it's very dangerous because there's a firefight taking place. However, he says if we help him, well, that is our own choice. So there are some super mutants here. All of these super mutants were really high levels for me. Not sure if it's just I'm a high level, or it's supposed to be that way since we are with the Outcasts. Either way, using the scoped 44 Magnum, the Blackhawk, it was actually pretty easy to deal with all of these super mutants and to rack up a good amount of XP by just kind of killing them off from a distance. Also make sure to loot all the bodies, as of course they have a lot of ammunition on the bodies. But eventually we'll have to go through this building, either office building or apartment building, and it'll be again filled with some super mutants. There's even a centaur in this one, but centaurs are pretty easy to kill. Me and the Outcast took out this super mutant above us, and then he fell down on the other side. Now, in this next room is where things can get a little bit insane, because there was a super mutant overlord with a Gatling laser, and he pretty much just suppresses you wherever you go. He stands in the middle of the room, and he can be a little bit tricky to kill. I was sniping out some of the other super mutants with my Blackhawk before I switched to the Victory Rifle. While the Victory Rifle doesn't do a ton of damage, it does knock enemies over, so eventually it knocked him over, which allowed me to run to the other side of the room so I could get some better shots and deal some more damage on him. Also, the Outcast just completely, annihilated him as well. Kill him, and then you can take his Gatling laser if you don't already have one. After this, we'll find this really large, kind of unfinished facility, and this is the Outcast Outpost. Also, we were ambushed from behind. Don't know if that's normal or not, but just thought I'd go ahead and show it. But anyway, Defender Moril will ask us why did we help him, to which I responded that I heard his signal over the radio. And he's like, it's a secure channel, how did you hear it? And then he realizes we have a Pip-Boy, and the Pip-Boy allowed us to listen in to his radio signal. So he then has a keen interest in our Pip-Boy, and he says we can now go downstairs to talk to his leader. So we will start to descend into the Outcast Outpost, where we can overhear 2 Outcast members talking about, well, why aren't they just killing you and then taking the Pip-Boy off of your dead body? But yeah, well, I mean, they might actually just do that. For the sake of the story, they can't do that. So we'll come downstairs and Defender Sibley will be waiting for us. And then about 1.5 minutes later, he will take us to his leader. Kind of hate things like this, but anyways, he will walk us through the facility. We can find a pretty nice facility, actually, considering this is the post-apocalypse. And we finally find Protector McGraw. And McGraw is the man in charge here. He has a keen interest in our Pip-Boy because it'll allow him and the rest of the Outcasts to access a simulation. If you complete this simulation, it unlocks a deeper part of the bunker, which might have a bunch of valuable loot. Now, the problem is, if you die in the simulation, you die in real life, blah, blah, blah. A very tired plot point, but around the time this DLC came out, I'm sure it was all the rage. But to be fair, I mean, how else are we supposed to experience Operation Anchorage? So I'll give them credit where it's due. It's a good way to experience it. After that, we will be brought to Specialist Olin, who just has a really bad attitude, and she will give us a jumpsuit, which we have to wear in order to use the simulation. So we'll put on that suit, and now we can enter Operation Anchorage. But that is a story for another day. And there you guys have it, the very beginning of Operation Anchorage, Bailey's Crossroads. Now, while this part of the quest is pretty small and actually probably quite forgotten, it is still pretty fun. It introduces a whole new portion of the map, which was, well, previously just ruins that were inaccessible. So just kind of cool to add more places from real life into Fallout 3, but unfortunately there is really no special loot within this area, besides just, the normal typical ammunition and whatever else you find on the bodies. And with that though, we can now start Operation Anchorage, so I'm very excited to play through this DLC. It's been a long time since I played it, so I don't remember it so well, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Unexplored Capital Wasteland. If you have any ideas for future videos or future locations, please post them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys think of Operation Anchorage. Do you have any ideas or thoughts on this DLC? Please drop them in the comments below as well. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, until next time.